Hey guys, this is going to be for question number 18, which is on page 143. It's sequences. So a sequence is a lot like a function. It's just an action. It's a recipe to follow. Okay, that's all it is. Now they're always going to tell you this. It says for the infinite sequence, a1, a2, a3, an. So a sub n means the current term. So the infinite sequence leading up to the current term is a sub n, right? So for this problem, it says a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 and then plus 1. So what does that mean for us? Well, let's say that n is 3. If n equals 3, then a sub n, so that's the third term. N equals 3 means the third term in our sequence. The third term in our sequence is equal to the third term minus 1, which is going to be the second term, and then plus 1. So basically what this is saying is that a sub 3 is equal to a sub 2 plus 1. So as we go on each successive term, we add 1. Pretty simple. And they tell us that a sub 1 equals 5. So we know that a sub 1 is 5. That means a sub 2 is 6. That means a sub 3 is 7. Right? We could keep going. We could say a4 is 8. A5 is 9. A6 is 10. A7 11. A8 12. A9 13. And A10 is 14. So what is a sub 10? A sub 10 is 14. Now you don't have to write that all the way out, because you know that to get from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10, you're going to increase 9 times. You're going to increase by 1 9 times. Well, what is 5 plus 9? 14. So you can write a whole sequence out, or you can figure out the pattern and go that way. On number 18 on page 143, this one's a little bit more difficult. So we have the whole thing, which is, A1 through AN. So that's the whole thing. It just tells us this is the sequence. Now here's the recipe right here for number 18. This recipe is right here. Okay? A sub n equals 3 times a sub n minus 1 for all n. And we're meant to find out if a sub 5 minus a sub 2 is 156, what is a sub 1? Now I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds, but go ahead and pause this if you feel like you need some time to look at this, and then, I'll come back when you're ready, but I'll just give you a couple of seconds to decide if you want to pause it, and then I'll keep going. Okay, so let's figure this out. We know that a sub 5 minus a sub 2 is 156. Well, we have to find a way to relate a sub 5 to a sub 2. So watch this as we go step by step. So each term is 3 times the preceding term. So a sub 3 is equal to 3 times a sub 2. You see that? If n is 3, 3 times, right, 3 minus 1 is 2. So 3 times a sub 2. A sub 4 is equal to 3 times a sub 3. Each subsequent term is 3 times as big. A sub 5 is equal to 3 times a sub 4. So do you guys see what we have here? How does a sub 5 relate to a sub 2? Well, it's 3 times a sub 4, 3 times a sub 3, 3 times a sub 2. So 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So a sub 5 is equal to 27 times a sub 2. Do you see that? 3 times a sub 4, which means 9 times a sub 3, which means 27 times a sub 2. So we can replace a sub 5 with 27 times a sub 2 minus a single a sub 2 equals 156. That means when you subtract 27 minus 1, you get 26 a sub 2 is 156. You divide both sides by 26 to get a sub 2 by itself. 26 happens to go, 26 happens to go into 56, and it's going to do that 6 times. So it's going to work 6 times. So that's going to exactly be 6 times 20 is 120, and 6 times 6 is 36. So a sub 2 equals 6. But that's not the answer because we're looking for a sub 1. Well, a sub 2 is going to equal 3 times a sub 1, isn't it? So that means that 6 equals 3 times a sub 1. A sub 1 is going to equal 2. The correct answer is B. That was a good bit of work. There'll usually be one problem on the GRE for each section, one problem each section that takes you some time like that, and maybe that happens to be this one. So that's our sequences, okay? That's our sequences. That's question number 18.